So, hello Year 12 and hello parents and guardians of Year 12. Normally at this time of year in March, we invite you into school to have an options after sixth form evening where we present you with information and answer your questions. Unfortunately, as with everything at the moment, we're not allowed to do that, and so this is why you're seeing me deliver this to you instead. So it's going to be a fairly short presentation, just looking at what options are open to our Year 12s beyond Year 13. And again, I'll give you some information about where you can send any queries or inquiries further down the line at the end of this presentation. But really, it's just to go through a few areas of importance at this point. So what are the options after sixth form? Well, we've got higher education. We have to take on an apprenticeship. We've got gap years, and we've also got, of course, going into the workplace, getting a job, going into employment. So they are what most of our students do. So most students leaving our sixth form follow one of these paths. And to find the right choice for you, it's massively important to understand what options are available and where you can research them, and what support is available in sixth form itself. And I hope to outline those things for you now. So let's just first of all have a look. You can see on the screen there a few websites that are very good for researching future career paths. You've got UCAS, you've got Unifrog, and you've got the National Careers Service there. Now, students in Year 12 have already been introduced to Unifrog. They have their login. They're able to freely use that research website at the moment. In fact, we've recommended that they do so as we get them prepared to begin the process of their university or their further education and beyond applications and preparations. So they are excellent websites there, we recommend. On top of that, we're going to be sending out a detailed presentation about how to make a university application through UCAS. That's coming out very soon, and Mrs. Durrans will also be forwarding information and presentations on apprenticeships covering that avenue too. So that will be available soon from us on top of those websites there. There are other websites, but these three are the ones that we do recommend for their reliability and for the information that they give out. So let's consider the first of those career options, higher education. You can see appearing on the screen there the various reasons why a student may want to pursue higher education. Most higher education courses are offered by universities, but some colleges and specialist institutions also offer higher education courses too. So it's not exclusively universities, but primarily it is that's what most students will be applying for. And you can see some of I'm not going to read out the slides, but you can see why some of those reasons are so important there. Particularly the first one there, essential for some career paths. If you want to go into some careers, you need a university degree to be able to do so. So that's, an obvious reason why higher education would be the path for you. For others, it is purely to broaden their experience and to develop maybe a specialism of some kind there. So you apply for most higher education courses using the University and Colleges Admission Services. That's what UCAS stands for, the University and Colleges Admission Services. So that's how you apply, and it's important really that you engage with the support that we have to offer here at Bingley Grammar School on that. We usually process over 150 applications through UCAS each year. So it's really vital that you keep to the school deadlines and that you listen out and watch out for emails that are sent on this subject. Very, very important that you do that so that you can keep up with the process and make it as smooth as possible. One area of higher education that is really worth thinking about is the financial side of the undertaking. Again, you can see some information coming up on the screen now about student loans, what you have to be earning to pay back that student loan. There are loans out there to cover your tuition fees and help towards your living expenses. I'm not going to say it completely covers everything, but it's intended to. But they're the amounts you have to be paying or have to be earning to pay that back. The website at the bottom there, you can see the Money Saving Expert website is really, really good to get a handle on the financial side of things there. That's the best advice we can find if you want to pursue that a little bit further. A couple of other details, most universities have similar tuition fees. They don't change too greatly between universities, but the cost of accommodation can vary dramatically. That's worth knowing. And also to consider and factor into the equation travel costs too. Always worth considering how much it's going to cost to get to and fro, from home to your destination. So if you're going farther afield, then obviously your travel costs are needing to be taken into account there. Students studying in London are able to access a larger student loan. And one aspect of student finance that's very often overlooked is the amount of maintenance loan a student is entitled to, which depends on household income. So students living away from home outside of London will receive between £4,422 and £9,488 for the academic year 2021-2022. But the difference is the expected parental contribution. So that's always worth factoring in and thinking about the expected parental contribution there. And again, more information can be found on that if you want to pursue that on that Money Saving Expert website. So a little bit there about higher education. Moving on to apprenticeships. Then information coming up on the screen there about why an individual might choose to pursue an apprenticeship instead. Many, many good reasons to do so. Just picking one or two out there. It's the fact that you're able to work alongside experienced staff and gain real specific skills. And on top of that, getting the time to study. And it's usually, in most cases, it's 1 day a week where you will be given time to do your studies. Now, Unifrog again has some very good information on apprenticeships. It's called Introduction to Apprenticeships, and it's in the Know-How Library section of Unifrog. So again, I'd like to point you in that direction if you want to find out a little bit more about this particular avenue. So apprenticeships, there are levels of apprenticeship to consider. So you can see them laid out on the screen there for you. They begin at the intermediate level and they move through to degree level, and you've got the equivalent educational level on the other side there that you can see. Now, going back to that while I just tell you a couple more things. Most students looking for an apprenticeship after sixth form will be looking to do an advanced level apprenticeship there, so beginning at least a level 3. Higher and degree level apprenticeships are really competitive. And students aiming to apply for these, well, they'll need to complete their UCAS applications as early as possible if they're going to get considered for those particular levels of apprenticeship there. And once again, I'm not on commission, I assure you, but Unifrog has a great search tool to help students have a look at the apprenticeship opportunities that are out there. So another thing to consider there. So that's apprenticeships. What about if you were to pursue a gap year instead? And why would a student do such a thing? Well, there's some information on the screen again as to reasons why you might pursue a gap year. It could be, and we're finding this quite a lot, not with many students, but maybe with one or two each year, that they're beginning to take a gap year so that they can perhaps get extra experience, so that they can then make a more confident university application the following year. That's happening a little bit more. Just one or two things to point out on that front, though. Whilst a gap year can provide the opportunity to enhance a university application. So, for example, if you were looking to do a vocational degree further down the line, if you were to do voluntary work and work experience on your gap year, then that would obviously make your application stronger. But some universities prefer students not to take a gap year before studying certain courses, and the primary example there is maths. So they don't recommend a gap year if you're going to pursue studies in maths. So just something to be aware with regard to taking that time in a gap year. So gap years, apprenticeships, higher education, and the final one to look at is employment. And again, appearing on the screen is a little bit of information about employment and pursuing that instead. Just to look at this sort of latter half of that slide there, if you are not sure of a career path and don't want to commit yourself to further study or training until you are sure, then consider a part-time job combined with voluntary work or work experience in order to expand your knowledge and enhance your CV. And again, one or two students each year we're finding are doing that for that very purpose, and to build up some money to be able to fund themselves on top of the grant or on top of the loan that you receive. So there's many reasons why employment would be a good considered factor for a student leaving year 13. So they're the four areas really that we find our students moving into. Just to give you some key messages then regarding all of that and regarding options after sixth form. We thoroughly recommend that you start your research and you start the process right now. In fact, you should have already started, because we've given you the Unifrog information to start your research, and we've begun the process of the whole UCAS form filling and the whole information gathering for that purpose. Tutors have been employed to help you in that process as well, and they've been given out to students too, so you should know who your tutors are. So all of this is up and running now, but please, if you haven't already, you must start now so that you can make this process as smooth as possible. Keep up to date with emails. We will be sending you many emails over the course of year 12 and 13 to do with the next stages of your career. So please keep up to date with those. Save the important ones and make sure that you at least read the others so that you know what's going on. And engage with the support that we offer. So there'll be many things that we're going to be putting on for students over the coming months. So please engage with those and make the most of them so that you can make this process smooth. Some deadlines to let you know about too. If you're making a UCAS application, if you're applying to Oxford or Cambridge, if you want to be a medic, if you want to be a vet, if you want to be a dentist, then your applications need to be in. Our internal deadline is the 1st of October for those applications. For all other applications, our internal deadline is the 1st of December. So 2 key dates for you to be aware of there. When we ask our Year 13 students what advice they would pass on to Year 12 with regard to this process, they always say that they wish they'd started everything early, i.e. when we've asked them to, and sometimes they've left it a little bit later than that. So the advice from Year 13 to Year 12 is to get started now with all of this, and you'll find if you do, it's a much easier process to go through. So just a little word of advice from our Year 13s there. So really that's all there is for now. Watch out for future emails and presentations. There's going to be a UCAS, as I said at the beginning, there's going to be a UCAS presentation taking you through the UCAS form and how to fill that in. And also Mrs. Durran's with the apprenticeship presentations and information that will be coming out soon. So there's going to be plenty more coming from us to help you in this process. So for now, it's almost goodbye. Just if you have any queries or any further questions, then that's the address to send them to, and we'll do our best to answer them as quickly as possible. So I hope that's been useful. And like I say, look out for more information that's coming out soon.